Yep. So, hello everyone. Welcome to day 6 of Mindful Mastery series. And it's great to see you all here back again on the sixth day. And I hope we have so much more to learn today as well as every day. And before learning and knowing the knowledge and the wisdom from the young master, I think it is very important for us to meditate and relax our mind so that we can get in all the information to head very quickly. So let's all meditate for some time before we get into the wisdom sessions. So let's all meditate for some time. So sit in a comfortable position, close your eyes, clasp your hands, cross your legs, and just focus on your natural breath. No thoughts about the future or the past. The meditation we do is Anapanasati. Ana means in breath, Apana means out breath, and Sati means to be one with our breath. Just focus on your natural breath. If you receive any thoughts, please do cut the thoughts and come back to observing your natural breath. Meditation is the only way where we can travel inside ourselves, where we can understand the real purpose of a life. Just be with your breath. Okay, masters. Please place your hands on your eyes for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So, yes, that was an amazing meditation, very vibrant, very energetic. And I guess we all are ready for the session to take in all the wisdom that Himasri is going to share with us. So, yeah, let's dive into the session now. So, today, for the sixth day, we have Himasri with us today to talk on the topics depression, anxiety, and stress, which are very, very much needed for the present society and the generation. So, I hope it will be of great information and great wisdom. So, over to you, Himasri. Welcome for today's episode. So thank you for joining us and willing to take up the session.
Thank you so much, Vandana. Hello, everyone. I am Himasri, like Vandana introduced. I'm I did psychology undergraduate degree, and that's why my interest in topics like mental health, depression, stress, and mindfulness. Um, so I've been interested in the topics of psychology and meditation for a long time. I've been a meditator. My parents are meditators as well. And I've been volunteering with PMC and PSSM in general for a long time now. And what I've experienced in my personal life is that meditation and mindfulness has a profound, like a great impact on our mental health. When I talk about mental health, I'm talking about our ability to be happy, think positively, and overcome day to day stresses. I'm sure every one of us feels stress in our day to day life. It's a very normal reaction to, difficult situations that we have. So, if anyone wants to share, what are some things that cause stress for you in your day to day life?
Maybe when we expect something to happen and it doesn't happen.
Definitely, expectations not being met can cause stress. Yeah. Any other situation, any particular thing that is particularly causing stress for you? No worries if you want, if you are not comfortable sharing. For me, growing up when I was a student, studying and giving exams, that was the most stressful part of my life. Everything else was easy. Parents used to take care of most of the things. So only my responsibility was getting good grades and doing well in school. So that was my stress growing up. And so when I was meditating, I realized that however stressful the exam might be and however last minute my preparation was, I found a way to handle that effectively. I'm sure all of us find different ways to handle stress, but sometimes it's effective. It leads to positive outcomes, but sometimes it's so bad that we end up feeling even worse after that. So, mindfulness and meditation are like effective tools of handling stress. So, what I used to do before a stressful period, if I know my exams are going to be towards the end of the month, I used to start practicing meditation at the beginning of the month or even before while I was studying. Say I have to study for the next 2 hours, I'll practice meditation for 5 minutes, not more than that, and then prepare for my exam. And we used to as a family practice this habit that it became a part of our day-to-day routine as well. My mom makes us practice meditation just for 5 minutes before we leave the house to go somewhere, attend a family function, or whatever it might be. Before we start any particular activity, it became a habit for our family that we meditate for 5 minutes. And why this was so significant, why this is so helpful is that when we are practicing meditation or mindfulness, when we are being mindful, when we're just focusing our attention on our breath, we are clearing our head. Our mind becomes empty, and we are in that calm state where we are receptive to everything, where we are able to see and use our full attention to understand what's happening around us. Many of the times when, like Lavanya ma'am said, when our expectations are not met, we get stressed about it and we react in negative ways. So, for example, let's take an example of meeting someone new, or we go to a restaurant and we sit down and we order something, but the waiter brings something completely different. It's not what you ordered, and you immediately get angry. Like, oh, this is not what I ordered. I waited for half an hour and now you're getting me something that I didn't ask for. And sometimes we just yell at the waiter. And then after we go back home, we realize, oh, why did I yell for that small thing? I did not need to scream for that. We reacted in that situation instead of responding to that situation. So when we found that stressful, when we were hungry, our expectations were not met, we reacted instead of responding. If we did respond, it would have been more of a situation where we say, okay, sorry, but this is not what I ordered. Can you please take this away and bring me what I want? We would be stern. We would make sure that this what you ordered is what you got, but we wouldn't cause a negative reaction in the other person. So there are three types of stress responses in psychology. One is a fight. So when we face a situation where we feel threatened, so say for example, like it's a very not a day-to-day example I'm taking, but imagine if you are in the jungle, you're going for a hike, and you suddenly come across a wild animal. There is a bear in front of you, and you don't know what to do. So there are three responses that we have when we find that situation threatening to us, where we are scared, where we are stressed. We either want to fight the bear, but because it's a bear, it's not a reasonable thing to do. So hopefully most of us will decide to run away from there. So we have a flight response. So we try to run away from that situation. Or if we are too scared and we don't know what to do, we don't know where to run, we'll just freeze. We'll just stop there in our tracks and just not do anything. No, don't respond. But it's not common for us to find bears in our day-to-day life. We are in a very urbanized society where we don't come across wild animals or even just wild dogs. It's very rare that it happens. Our day-to-day stresses are more of a, oh, my boss at work yelled at me, or I have this deadline that I have to finish, or it could be that we had a fight with our family members and suddenly we feel threatened, we feel scared, we feel angry. Whenever we have a strong negative emotion, it causes a stress response within our body. So we either fight with the other person or we run away from the situation. Maybe some when your as one example can be that your sibling came and she said, "Oh, my sister comes to me and she said, "Oh, you did something wrong." Then I don't want to admit that I'm wrong. Then I'll fight with her saying, no, I was right. You were the one who was wrong. Or I might say, I might just want to try and run away from there. I'll say, no, 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 I don't want to talk about this now. And then I'll just dismiss her. I'll say, no, what you're feeling is not valid. I don't want to deal with this right now because in my body, I feel threatened. Somewhere someone is pointing at me and saying, no, what you did is wrong. So I feel scared. So I might run or I might just freeze and I just stand there for like 10 minutes while she's yelling at me and just take it all. And after 10 minutes, then you think after everything's done, oh, I could have just explained what happened. It wasn't such a big thing. I could have just explained it and it would have been fine. But that momentary realization only comes when we practice being mindful. When we are not aware, mindfulness is nothing but awareness. So when we don't understand what's happening around us, we default to these responses that we have. It's a very biological thing for us. Our body automatically does it. But if you want to, have a stress-free life and learn, it's about managing and learning how to respond to those situations. If for a second in our mind, if we can think, oh, wait, my body is reacting in this way because it doesn't know what else to do. Then, in that momentary second, when we pause and think, oh, wait, this is just a clarification issue. I just need to clarify what happened. and I did what I had to do because that was the situation. So when we talk about stress, we and like mental health, a lot of us have days when we are feeling low, and we have days when we are feeling happy. Everything's going well, everything's great. And some days are just not great, be it something around us or just we are not feeling happy. So, depression is a mental health disorder where we feel prolonged periods, like we feel upset and sad for very long periods of time. So, clinically, if you go to the doctor, they will say you are depressed only if you have been feeling low or sad for more than 6 months in a row. And it comes with different other thoughts and behavioral patterns. Some and it might not be the same for everyone. If one person who's depressed might not react the same way as another person who is depressed. And same with anxiety, there might be different situations that bring anxiety to different people, and it becomes a disorder when it's extreme and it's not manageable by the person. So what I'm here to tell you is that mindfulness is a very good tool to manage depression and anxiety, and it has been scientifically proven. There were a lot of studies, research has been done, and it shows that mindfulness and meditation have a really good positive impact in managing these negative disorders and emotions and stresses in our life. But I just want to mention, because I'm a psychologist, it does not act as a replacement for therapy. So if anybody is particularly feeling stressed or depressed and anxious and they're not able to manage it by themselves, please reach out. It's a very positive thing. Just like when we go to the doctor, when we have some physical health issue, if we are sick and if we are fainting every day, then we go to the doctor and we ask what's happening, what can I do? Same way, if we are feeling depressed or anxious and we're not able to do our day-to-day activities, it's absolutely fine to go to the doctor. Um, but if it's something that you feel you can manage, these are like tools that I'm giving you to manage it at home. So just practicing breath mindfulness every day for at least half an hour. If depending on your age, I think the minimum prescribed amount is if say I'm 23 years old, that's my 23 minutes is my minimum amount of time that I need to meditate. So if anybody is 50 years old, the minimum amount of time they need to meditate is 50 minutes. So please practice that. And I want to explain one small concept so that these topics of depression and anxiety are clearly understood by everyone. So we all have a limited amount of energy with us, or our ability to tolerate different situations is limited. So imagine there is a rectangle, and that rectangle is includes all the situations that we can handle. Like example, one exam is stressful. Okay, we can handle that. That is within our limits. Maybe something else added on to it. I got into a fight with a friend. That is also within our limits of tolerance. So this triangle is our limit of tolerance, how much we can handle on a regular basis. And we add on more things into that limit of tolerance. And sometimes that limit crosses overboard. So if these are the limits, the whatever is happening to you is beyond our limit. So if it's on the other extreme end, we get anxious. Maybe we have to give a presentation and go on stage and talk to 500 people. And that is very stressful for us. Someone might find it's beyond their tolerance level. So they'll have a reaction. They'll start sweating. They might not be able to think. Not sometimes people can't breathe when they're having an anxious reaction. And same thing for at bottom level. Our lowest level of tolerance for If something happens that pushes us below that level of tolerance, that level for us, we get depressed and we start reacting in ways that's opposite to anxiety. When we're depressed, the symptoms might be that you don't want to do anything, you don't want to go out of the house, you don't want to cook or clean or just take care of yourself. And having that kind of response regularly is obviously bad for our health and well-being. So what we are constantly trying to do is keep ourselves within those two levels, not the extreme where we are anxious and we freeze or we fight, or nor the depression where we are just frozen and we can't move. So the best way to understand what's happening within yourself is to improve that awareness. Just habits like every night before you sleep. This is a great habit to have. Just 5 minutes, get a book, get a pen, and sit down with yourself and ask yourself, what are the things that went well today? So write down all the positive things like, oh, I had this amazing food. I cooked so well for myself. I tried a new recipe, it went really good. And I spoke to a pyramid master and they gave me a nice concept, which I really liked. And then you can have a section where you write about what you want to do tomorrow. How are you going to make tomorrow better than today? So maybe you can say it doesn't have to be drastically better. It can just be 1% better. And that 1% can be I'm going to look at myself and smile tomorrow and just talk to myself in the mirror for 2 minutes. Or it can be that I'm going to try a new recipe tomorrow because I like cooking. These are the examples I'm giving you. Or it can be that I'm going to call someone, some old friend that we haven't called in like 3 years. We'll call and we'll catch up with the old friend. And that's just 1% better than the previous day. So we can ask ourselves, what is it that I can do for myself that's 1% better than today? And have that as a thing that you're going to do tomorrow. Most days it doesn't happen, but at least you're thinking about it. You're thinking of self-care and you're practicing self-care. So these are some tools: journaling at night, in the morning, or before starting anything new. Take a small break, 5-minute break, meditate, get a bit of clarity, and just clear your mind of all the thoughts that we have and just become aware of our situation. And a lot of times what happens is we don't accept that what's happening around us is causing us some stress. If it's an exam, yes, we are happy to admit that it's stressful. If it's a presentation that we have to give in front of people, we are happy to admit it's stressful. But when it comes to personal relationships, sometimes we don't want to admit that having an honest conversation with our family is stressful because it's uncomfortable. Sometimes we don't want to say that, oh, what you did is wrong. And that's uncomfortable. And we don't want to admit that it's uncomfortable for us. So when we practice mindfulness and meditation, we reach a stage where we are okay with it. We accept that, okay, this is uncomfortable. I just need to come with a plan to handle this. When we have that acceptance and awareness of what's happening within us and around us, we are better able to handle that situation. So that is what this mindfulness technique helps us do, build that awareness. And it's like this. Imagine you're talking on the phone and you're having a very good conversation. You don't realize what's happening around you. Maybe someone's fighting, there's some cars on the street, but you don't realize. But if you're not talking on the phone and your mind is empty and you're fully aware, you can tell there were two cars that passed on the road and there is some children fighting on the street. You can hear all of that. Because your mind is empty, you're able to perceive what's happening around you. You can tell what's happening around you. But if our mind is so full and we're already talking to ourselves, that phone call conversation can be within our mind itself. We're talking to ourselves so much that you can't see what's happening outside. We're so busy in here that everything outside is just too much to handle. So once we can empty our mind in here, then we can see everything outside. And even if something's happening within our body, then we are aware of it. Okay, that's a new thought that I have. Never had that before. And also, it's not making me feel so good. So what can I do about it? Or sometimes it can be a positive thought. Someone complimented you, but you are not, your mind is not empty enough to actually take that compliment. Most of the days, someone might say, "Oh, the food is so good today." And then automatically, so you go, "Oh, yeah, it was not that great yesterday, so I'm glad it's good today." Immediate negative thought. Instead of feeling happy that it's good today, we immediately think, "Oh, it was bad yesterday." So once we empty our mind of the things that happened yesterday and even today, like, okay, 2 hours ago, it wasn't so good. Breakfast was not great, but lunch can be good. Dinner can be amazing. So if we keep holding on to the breakfast part, we are never going to be able to enjoy what's happening. So that is why I really like the concepts of mindfulness and meditation, because it's the fundamental uh, principle that everything builds on. If your mind is not empty, there's nothing you can do with what you're facing in life. So it's understanding ourselves, saying, okay, my mind is 50% full today. So how can I bring it down? My mind is like 110% today. How can I bring it down? And sometimes we need 100% of our mind to work on something. So maybe my mind is at 0% today. I need it at 100%. How do I bring it up? So it's about understanding how many positive thoughts we have, how many negative thoughts we have, and improving the positives, reducing the negatives. And writing things down is a miraculous tool. Keep writing. It can be negative, it can be positive. This is the practice that I have done for myself for years on end, and it's a truly miraculous thing. I When I was facing a lot of challenges in university, my university situation was a little more challenging than normal university students, I would say, because I came to a different country. I was by myself. I didn't know anyone in the country or in the city as well. So I had to make new friends and I had to make good friends. Otherwise, it's not going to be helpful. And I had to take care of myself. I did not know how to cook, clean, nothing. I was very pampered. I had a very happy, relaxing life at home. And when I chose this challenge of taking care of myself, it was it was a big, undertaking. It was a lot of things at once that I had to learn. I had to push myself to learn to cook. Majority of the days, what I made was not great, but I still ate it. So how do you become okay with the fact that you're not good at something? There were days that I was frustrated, but writing things down, talking to people who are positive, because who we surround ourselves with is extremely important. Every time I'm stressed, I call my grandparents or parents and they tell me, okay, that's fine. You messed up this recipe, but you can add X, Y, and Z to make it into a new recipe. So that helps. So having people that you can count on and understanding um, who to surround ourselves with is also important. Like I said, having good friends is important when you're alone or even when you're around people. So just to recap and, my final message is practice meditation every day, try journaling every day, and try thinking of one thing that you want to improve the next day, just 1% improvement. That's it. And yeah, just keep that awareness about how you're feeling, how others are feeling around you. That's also important, but mostly you. So that's what I wanted to share today. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, the whole of PMC Africa team.
Thank you so much, Himasri. That was great. Indeed, very helpful, I would say. The pointers that you gave out, because many people know that they're going through all of this, but they don't know how to overcome all of these. So I think that was some nice pointers. So thank you so much for joining us and giving the tips for all of us to put into practice.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Does anyone have any questions if I wasn't clear enough?
Yeah, you guys can interact with her. You can ask, or you can tell whatever you want.
Himasri,
Yes, ma'am.
it's very beautiful, small topic and perfectly explained.
Thank you.
Yeah, and yeah, as Patriji says, for anxiety and for depression or anything, meditation is the key point that you clearly explained. Even though everything happens, again meditation, mindfulness.
Yes.
And the one thing I observed that freezing state, fighting state, and running state. This thing I observed between so many people. Really, when something happens, even means they fight. If not, they just want to escape from that situation. Otherwise, just stand like that without any response.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
Here, after meditating, this situation changed. They start to reply. Matlab, they start to give answer in a perfect condition. This happens with meditation. I observed in my own life that freezing state and a running state. I escaped so many things before meditation. Are, yaar, this is not my, this is not mine. This I can't solve this. Like that, I jumped so many times. But after coming into meditation, everything changed. Is the exact point you told. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you, ma'am. That's true. It's our biology. There's nothing wrong with it. It helps us be safe. Like I said, when we are in that situation in front of a tiger, we have to run, and
Yes.
our body helps us.
Yes.
So it's about understanding, is this actually a tiger that I have to run away from, or is it my family that I need to calm down and work it out with?
Yes.
So it's about convincing our mind this is not a stressful situation like that. We deal with it in a different way. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am. Thank you for sharing. So, you, yes, Arunama.
Yes, hello, Himasri. Yes, I have one doubt. Like nowadays, we are seeing all the youth, young people, they don't sleep at night. They they keep awake and they'll do like in the name of studies they'll be awake, but so do you think that that comes under what? Is it depression or anxiety or stress? What is that?
I can't generalize it. It's not the same for all the youth. It can be a mixture of things, and they have to be honest about it by themselves. I know I'm guilty of it. I also stay up at night and look at my phone. And some days I am watching a movie and it's like 2 a.m. and then I go to sleep. So for me personally, I think it happens because throughout the day, we do all our tasks like, okay, study, you have to cook, you have to clean. And at night, it's like that time for yourself. That's the only time you're sitting with your own thoughts, with your own self. And it's a personal time. And if you use your personal time to do healthy habits like meditation, journaling, or book writing, whatever it is that you like, if you can do that, even if it's a movie, watching a good movie before you sleep can be a personal habit that's good. But if it's done in excess, it becomes bad. And When it comes to phones and screens at night, it becomes tricky because our brain has this chemical called dopamine. And every time we look at our phone, it releases a little bit of dopamine. So it becomes very addictive. And once you get addicted to it, you constantly want that little bit of dopamine in your mind. Otherwise, you don't feel happy. Dopamine is the happy hormone. That's what makes us happy. So after 10 days of sleeping late, looking at your phone, 11th day, even if you want to keep it aside, your brain's constantly saying, oh, you're not happy anymore. If you look at your phone, you'll be happy. So you automatically take your phone, you look at it, and your brain slowly releasing that dopamine in your brain, and you continue for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then suddenly your eyes are tired. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and you have to wake up at 6 a.m. So you're like, okay, now I'm going to sleep. But you only have 3 hours left, and you've been looking at screens, and a lot of research shows that the light, that blue light from the screen, is bad for your health and sleep as well. So it becomes a negative pattern. It's like a loop. You want to stop, but you can't stop. So that's when healthy habits need to be introduced. So I would recommend reading the book Atomic Habits. It will clearly explain all the little things that you can do so you can break your bad habits and build good ones in place of that. That, like I said, that happy hormone, the dopamine in our brain releases even if we do healthy stuff. So healthy things can be eating one piece of chocolate that releases dopamine, and then reading your favorite book that releases dopamine, listening to your favorite song releases dopamine, exercise. Exercise releases dopamine that does not crash. So it keeps you, in that happy dopamine state for the longest time. So if you exercise in the morning, even in the afternoon, your brain will have that happy hormone in it. But if you look at the phone, maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then suddenly it goes down and you want that again. So you look at your phone again. So that book, Atomic Habits, clearly explains what is it that you can do to reduce the bad habit of looking at your phone and replace it with a good habit that you want to make. It can be anything, reading books or listening to music or practicing dance, practicing art, drawing something, whatever it might be. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Thank you so much for that
Very nice.
beautiful explanation, though. Yeah, it was great. It was actually relatable for me.
I think not just youth, everyone's addicted to their phones to some level. If it's not a phone, it's TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Apart from this, everything, the only solution for all of these things is meditation, right?
Because meditation
Wha-
gives you awareness and it gives you
Yes,
the strength to accept it. Yeah.
yes, right. Very good. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So, yes. Do anyone have any doubts or questions? You can put it up, or else I think we can call it a day. If no one have any questions or anything to ask, I think we are fine with it. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
only once. I need one suggestion. Prefer a book for the youth. What do you prefer? Any book?
There are so many amazing ones. I would really recommend Atomic Habits. That one's good to build good habits. And
Written by writer?
1 second, I have to check.
And Suvarna ma'am, you can also uh, follow this book, A Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. That is
Yes.
very good for you. I mean, that is by Robin Sharma, I guess.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
wonderful book. Actually, I haven't read it, but my daughter read it, and she said like it's a perfect book for teenagers.
Yes.
Okay.
Like it clearly gives the goal, and maybe like it's similar to that atomic habits also.
Atomic habits.
Yeah,
Thank
I've started
Okay.
reading the atomic habits, but I left in between.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
And
Atomic
one,
Habits by James Clear. And like ma'am said, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari is also a really great book. Um, and Jay Shetty's How to Think Like a Monk, that's also good.
Okay. Okay.
And even Alchemist also, if
Alchemist. Yeah.
yes.
All these books are available on YouTube as audiobooks. So if anyone doesn't like sitting down with a book and reading, they can listen to it. It's the same
Okay.
content. And if any person likes listening, because I like listening to audiobooks more than reading a physical book. That's also
Yes.
helpful.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much, Himasri, for joining us today and giving out some amazing wisdom. And it was great to have you because, like, for this topic, I think we need someone specialized in that field. So I think you're perfect for that. So thank you for joining us and helping us out with this topic. And we've come to the end of day 6, and we have 5 more days to go for the 11-day session to complete. And I hope you all join every day to gain many such amazing sessions and much more knowledge on other topics as well. So thank you all for joining in today and have a lovely night. Thank you.
Thank you
Hope to
so
see
much.
you all
Yes,
tomorrow.
thank you, everyone.
a big applause to Himasri.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye bye. Good night.
thank you, everyone.